Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. My name is Dogwood333 and welcome back to Hearts of Iron 4, the New Order, Last Cities of Europe, as the Greater German Reich. In our last video, we continued working on some of our internal stuff. We're getting a war report coming up, it seems, and we are working on our foreign policy. In fact, oh god. Hold a speech. Hold a speech! Right, regime collapse imminent. Das ist nicht gut. Oh 09. Okay. Token political promises. Fuck it. Give them what they want. Alright, fuck, okay. Crisis averted. Good job. Good job, team. Some anti-tank, I guess. Why not? And I got a comment from someone who was saying, pay attention to all this stuff because, they saw a Spear campaign just completely fall apart because they didn't do shit. And that kind of, that made me laugh a bit. I told him, like, if I end up fucking this campaign, it won't be because I'm not paying attention to this. I'll promise you that much. History was made today as the President of the United States of America welcomed a German dignitary to the White House. Our Foreign Minister, Helmut Schmidt, we're gonna figure out who the U.S. President is in a couple days, was not received warmly as a representative of an OFN nation might have been. The fact that there was no passive hostility on the President's part is surely a good sign. Schmidt was all smiles, no doubt a strange sight to many Americans after decades of hostile relations between our two nations. The real coup Schmidt scored during his visit was an address to the Senate. Initial fears on our parts were quickly allayed. When a recording was delivered to Germany for broadcast on state television, he began with, "Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your most cordial reception and kind words of greeting." A standard diplomatic opening, but Schmidt's warmth of his voice and character made clear his sincerity. He went on to say, "This is my first expedition as Foreign Minister of the Greater German Reich, and I must express my admiration for the authority and dignity that this great nation displays in every action and every hour of its existence." Schmidt's schedule did not permit a tour of major cities as he initially requested before setting out, but the Führer was doubtful that such a request would be granted by the Americans anyway. Considering we nuked them only 20 years ago, Schmidt's visit has been a resounding success and a great diplomatic victory for the Reich. There's hope for us yet. So let's go to the land, the rising sun. Actually, let's get working on the great game. Yeah. German advisors. The young Norwegian nation no longer has any need for German monitors in its government and is in fact very vocally dissatisfied with their continued presence there. As our first gesture of goodwill to the young administration, we shall officially withdraw any and all German advisors and bureaucrats currently stationed in Norway. Very well. Purpose for their planes. Yeah, they're just giving us time to get them in our faction, it seems. I don't know if Norway can join the OFN, actually. I don't know, before I've seen them stay more or less loyal to the Norwegian. Alright, we did it, guys. The country with literally no content has reunified Central Siberia. Oh god. That's just fucking embarrassing. Okay, we're charging the reactionaries with treason. That'll give us... Okay, Bennett! We'll have to think about him later. That's kind of boring, but okay. Helmut Schmidt, its diplomatic advances continues, with visits to Rome, Ankara, Madrid, Stockholm, and Helsinki. The Reich's image has suffered immensely in Europe, not merely because of a war, but also due to the economic crash that killed much of the continent's economy and plunged our trading partners into depression. The ready visibility of the Bürgerkrieg and less admirable aspects of Hitler's reign have made us pariah despite being the unquestioned rule of Northern and Eastern Europe. Schmidt could never have hoped to repair our image in a single trip, but the first steps toward a long-needed thaw in relations have finally been taken, something that Hitler would never have deigned to attempt. No doubt many of our neighbors question whether this is a move towards openness and cordiality. This move towards openness and cordiality is genuine. Such a lack of trust is unfortunate, but more than understandable, as our Führer puts it to the Reichstag. Still, the importance of this diplomatic defense operation cannot be understated. We've been isolated for decades, feared and loathed by as an evil empire of the North, like something out of a fantasy novel. Hopefully Europe will begin to recognize our good intention in time, as well as overlook anything that they don't like about us in the name of Realpolitik. And they will learn in time, I assume. I hope. Alright, so realignment has a somewhat conservative tick right now. Okay. Alright, I gotta select a national focus. Let's redefine our relationship. If we are to successfully pull Norway back into the fold, we need to redefine the relationship between our two nations. No amount of bribery or sweet-talking will make Norwegians forget how they were treated during Hitler's reign. Not without proof that things will be different. From now on, the German-Norwegian relationship dynamic will not be one of master and servant, but of cooperation partners between the two equals in standing. Or at least until we can reestablish our network of influence. This is the impression that we'll give. Okay, the government has prevailed. That's a funny picture. That might go on the gram. That was back in the day. Light can not go out, it can only dim. So the English are back in the shite. So they have accepted our guarantee. Well, let's accept some Norwegian bureaucrats. Now that our representatives in the government of Norway are officially withdrawn and safely back in the fatherland, we must formally recognize and guarantee the sovereignty of the native Norwegian bureaucrats taking their place. From now on, the Norwegian people are allowed to fully govern themselves any way that they deem correct, unchained from Germany at a legal level. That works. Okay, they're going across the Atlantic. Hopefully they'll be a bit friendlier to us. We can hope. Oh, no, I'm looking to just stop losing so much money. Okay. We are finally getting some money. Oh god. This might be a bad idea to have it this low. Because, you know what? We'll keep it going for a bit. Because we don't really need many factories, let's be honest. Except Norwegian bureaucrats. Okay, let's see. GDP grow a bit. Okay, could do a game of balancing. Could get some command power. We're pretty much capped up there, more or less, already, but I don't know, let's go to the land of the rising sun, just because I don't want to waste all that political power right now. Yeah. The Reich and the Empire of Japan once fought side by side against the plutocratic superpowers of Britain and America, but relations since the bombing of Pearl Harbor have been icy at best. Japan's intense paranoia and claims of Pan-Asianism drove a permanent wedge between us. Once the common cause of a tripartite pact was no longer a factor. Regardless of the vast differences between our respective spheres of influence, Japan seems set on having Germany as a permanent rival, no different to the United States. Still, the Führers insisted on a policy of universal detente, which means Japan must be given a place in our diplomatic plans. Neither Speer nor Schmidt are optimistic of normalizing relations with Japan, but if such a mission were to succeed, we might ease the tension somewhat and redirect it towards the United States. As one of the world's largest economies, we might have much to gain from reopening trade with the co-prosperity spirit. Should true detente be achieved, we might even see the old alliance reborn. Unlikely, but you never know, I suppose. You never know. What's Himmler up to? Unknown focus. What did we get? Did we win that last one? We did, okay. Okay, we gotta be careful. 2 to 4 points. We gotta be daring but careful. Let's try smuggling them guns. We'll see what happens. Among the fringes of Hungarians lay in hiding some real crazies. We don't align with them politically, but they can still be of use to the Reich. Smuggling these radicals' weapons could potentially be devastating to Hungary's stability. This will be risky. If it doesn't work, we'll have to go back on the autosave. Can hold a speech. Yeah, let's do that. Let's hold a speech. Let's hide pact related stuff for now. We're not going to be able to do much. In the land of a rising sun. Okay, we might need to do more. Okay, economy. Yeah, cut the budgets again. South Africa's hanging in there. You might have to do the favorable peace treaty, if I had to guess. God, our PP gain is small. God damn. Like, what do we do? Okay, let's do the Erhard plan. Our new Minister of Economy, famed economist Ludwig Erhard, is one of Führer's most trusted confidants. Though disliked by the Nazi Party for his unorthodox belief in free market economics and liberalism, he is widely acclaimed as one of the most intelligent and astute administrators a Reich ministry has seen in years. Radicalism aside, Erhard has Führer's full confidence is about as popular as an economist could ever hope to be with the populace, owing to his concrete evidence for the wisdom of Speer's economic reforms. Erhard is also a man with a plan, or several. He has spoken in the past of abolishing price controls, constraining inflation, opening up markets, and even abolishing slavery outright in order to give Germans more economic opportunities. And that's to say nothing about his proposed budget cuts for the Wehrmacht. Truly, the Reich has never seen such a radical within the halls of power. You're telling me. Okay, we can do some token promises, get some more stab. Oh, 50% stab? That's not bad. I'll take that. Have the token promises figured out. The Japanese have never disguised their distrust and even outright loathing for us in the past 2 decades. Our alliance in the Tripartite Pact was born of little more than convenience and deterrence against the U.S., which became moot once the Japanese declared war on them and Hitler dragged us into it. As a rival fascist power, the Japanese naturally see us as a big threat and a challenge to their rule, never mind the fact that our spheres of influence barely overlap at all. Our recent friendly overtures towards their archenemy may actually have made this enmity even worse. Still, Schmidt had a job to do, and performed admirably given the circumstances. Welcomed to the Diet by the Prime Minister, though snubbed by the Emperor, he made an impassioned speech calling for an end to senseless rivalry. and for the Japanese to recognize our goodwill and peaceful intentions towards the Empire of Japan. He was met with polite, if somewhat muted applause, to be expected of course, but at least he wasn't given the silent treatment. The Führer remains skeptical that relations with the Japanese will ever be normalized, but this was a necessary step to take in our journey towards a positive image on the world stage. If we cannot be seen as willing to reconcile even with our most vicious rival, we will never be trusted as a global actor. Could have gone worse. So we'll get a bit more PP. I'll take it. Oh god, why did that fall? Was it only a temporary boost? That's what I'm thinking. It might be a temporary boost. Okay, let me see real quick. I gotta look how the game went. Fuck, okay. We overshot. It's okay. I'll reload the save real quick. Probably don't need to do that because we have some more opportunities, but I don't want to make it close. Honestly, I'm not giving those Italians a single chance to get back at me. Unless I don't want to cheat this time. That would be lame. Okay, so we have a few days until this is done. What do we got? We got Reformist, high pack related stuff. Let's go to speed 5, see if my computer can handle that. I gotta say, my computer... this is a bit more of a drain on my computer than most other games I've really played. Except the bureaucrats. Okay, so what now? Land of a Rising Sun, then we'll do Erhard plan. Alright, so it's still 6-2. You used to be great. What happened? Carpathia used to be yours. You had humbled the Romanians, the Slavs of the Balkans, and marched hand in hand with us to Muscovia. Your prosperity used to be the envy of Central Europe. Have you already forgotten? Now, let's remind him of past glories. Now we can hold a speech on the Rising Sun. And just hold a speech, get a bit of stab, do some token promises. Erhard plan. Okay, economy. Bam, bam, bam. Not quite there PP-wise. My PP game is low-key kind of small right now. In-game? Man, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to finish that joke. Okay, military advisors. We're doing okay. Okay, they're at 7 right now. A burst of static filled the screen before cutting to a man clad in black armor, holding a rifle in one hand and a flag in the other. Stepping forward, he raised the flag and showed the old symbol of Germany, planting it in front of his feet. As he did, he took a step back and glanced at the flag, looking at it with curiosity. Then curiosity turned to hostility, which turned into laughter. Shaking his head, the man merely gripped his rifle with both hands and pointed at the flag, pulling the trigger. Gunfire erupted, and once he stopped, the camera panned back to the pole as the German flag fell. In cold, dead silence, a few seconds passed before another flag was lifted in its place. Pure black, with the black sun. Ordensstadt, Burgund. The camera panned backwards as cruel laughter echoed again and again. Ruined buildings and city blocks were all that was there to see, covering the entire span of the city in smoke and destruction. It continued for almost a dozen seconds before the camera switched yet again. This time it was the clean streets of Germany proper. A young, healthy-looking man dressed in the colors of Wehrmacht was playing with two children, happily ruffling their hair and playing short games with them. In the distance their parents watched, their faces approving and their smiles bright. As this was going on, a voice began speaking. We must avoid the mistakes of the past that have led to cruelty. Yesterday, blood filled the streets in Germany. Today, peace reigns from our homes to the forests and the mountains. Tomorrow, we shall have an ethical Wehrmacht, one that will be incapable of committing the horrors that Germany was forced to follow in the past. Finally, the soldier bids the parents and their children farewell, and they amicably part ways. Do your part. Make Germany's armed forces a more humane place. We'll see how that goes. Alright, so it's going to want price, deregulations, and this initiative. Our regime stability will go down the shitter if we do that. For a bit, at least. Alright, well, let's do the trimmer trooping. The cornerstone of Hitler's revival of the German economy after the disaster of Weimar was the system of the Reich Arbeitsdiensten, or RAD. This was a system wherein ordinary citizens, mostly youths, would volunteer for military-style regiments with the sole purpose of carrying out massive public works. Immediately popular and astonishingly successful, the RAD, reduced the unemployment rate to nearly zero and instilled proper working-class values in an entire generation of disillusioned and profligate young men. Erhard, despite his dislike of orthodox Nazi economics, knows a good idea when he sees it. The RAD will live once more, this time under the new title of Trümmertruppen. These new labor divisions will carry out the work that would otherwise be allocated to slaves, thereby fulfilling Speer's promise of reducing unemployment, at least in the short term. This is the first in our gradual move away towards forced labor programs and will be vital for rebuilding the blue-collar market in the coming years. That worked with me, guys. I don't know if it works for you, but that works for me. What? What's this? You want to change our price controls? Speer raised a skeptical eyebrow as he glanced over at Erhard over the top of his proposal sheet. Erhard shook his head and plucked a fat cigar from between his lips. No, my Führer. Read it again. I don't want to change them. I want to abolish them. Price controls have never prevented inflation. The black markets have been sucking the life out of our commercial sector for over 10 years. We aren't going to dig ourselves out of this hole if we keep rejecting sensible free market principles principle. Speer was silent for a moment, eyebrows furrowing as he squinted at the tiny text more closely. Erhard shifted in his chair and replaced his cigar, taking a deep, satisfied puff. Suddenly, Speer's eyes stopped flickering back and forth and widened. Reset the Weichmark? Are you telling me we should withdraw it from circulation? All of it. Then issue new notes and coins. The first batch is ready for distribution already, and banks in East Prussia and the Rhineland are prepared to start accepting the old currency. It will, let me finish, my Führer, give our citizens the purchasing power they lacked since we crashed in the 50s. Once the OFM embargo ends, Speer looked equal parts intrigued and mortified. What do you mean the Erhard flickered away the stub of his cigar. You're planning to end the embargo, aren't you? Haven't you already spoken with Schmidt about this? Yes, but not good. The sooner imports start up again, the sooner we'll see quality of life begin to increase. I assure you, my Führer, that you will see progress not a day after the embargo is lifted. Erhard rose to his feet with a groan of exertion and gathered up his papers. Now I really must get going, my Führer. I have a dozen bankers and 5 CEOs to meet with before the day is out. With a lazy salute and an almost forgotten howl, Erhard was gone, leaving Speer with a book-sized proposal and far too many numbers for his liking. Quite the character. Oh no, not more stability hits. God damn it. How close the Reich Minister Erhard is allowed to work to his original claims ultimately affects how effective they are. God damn it. Why do you have to do this to me? Oh, there we are. Vasilvarin. Okay, we can also show generic investment options. Alright. How's the war looking? Another invasion of Cape Town. They've taken it again. And honestly, they will probably lose it again. I'm expecting. So, lack of civilian factories. We don't have a lot of those trades going anymore. So, these sides, I know, is what old Erhard wants. Okay, let's do the Varings reform. The Führer was caught off guard when Erhard suggested it, but his logic is sound. The Reichmark is a worthless currency with no clout on the global stage. Even Germans who make a decent wage can barely afford to keep food on the table for an entire week. That's to say nothing about the multitude of cars, electronics, and luxury goods which sit in stores gathering dust because no one can afford them. Germans have lacked the purchasing power and quality of life enjoyed by Japanese and Americans for over a decade now. Time to put an end to this sorry state. The Reichsmark is due a hard reset. All currency will be withdrawn from circulation and replaced with newly minted notes and coins. All measures necessary to bring the actual value of the Reichsmark from its current inflated level down to normal will be carried out. There is likely to be widespread confusion and anger following such drastic measures, but the destitute state of our citizenry cannot continue any longer. So our growth will increase a little bit. And vast political promises. Oh no. Okay, the Aryans are gone. So it's Samara versus the Bolsheviks. The officer plan. Ooh. Well, that's spooky. I think this means we're gonna get probably the actual very, very cursed Samara faction popping up. And you can say, like, all Samara's cursed on its own, but I mean, Rykov isn't that bad. Mamma mia. It's time to stop by Italia. Howdy, Gus. How you doing, partner? Fuck, we can't even fuck around with it. Okay, wait. I need an army experience sheet right now. HoI 4 army experience. HoI 4 sheet. Okay, XP 15. There we go. Mamma mia, you can suck on my dick. Fascism's favor. Did they go Scorza? Yeah, they did go Scorza. It's pretty neat. Tag Jur. And there you go, there goes our Central Siberian plan. Revolt. Honey, it's time to get steamrolled by the anarchist LARPers. Yes, dear. So that's always what happens with the AI, let's be real. crap. Okay, we're gonna take... I'm never take the political power hit, honestly, at this point. The memories of the occupation have left the Norwegians expectantly yet uncomfortably adverse to the ways of National Socialism. It's probably a fair assumption that the policies their leaders pursue might start to wildly deviate from our own as the government is restructured. However, Norway's potential services to us are too great to abandon over matters of ideological homogeneity, which is already being disentrenched at the home front. If this agreement is to succeed, we will have to tolerate and ignore any political differences between our nations and allow the Norwegians to actually govern themselves any way they see appropriate. Yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do after. Why is our power... Why is it dropping? God. Campaigns last 4 months, right? Creative ideology. Okay, yeah. Norway's independence and ideological distance from the Reich seems like just another obstacle to circumvent, when in reality they could very well prove to be brand new opportunities for our regime to exploit, seen internationally as an independent player to interact with, and very soon to woo over on one's respective side on the world stage. Also can become a valuable diplomatic middleman with the outside world, giving us far greater access to establish contacts with both our rivals and our future prospects through their own channels. And our free-willed and much more internationally amicable ally in the North will be vouching for our interests, announcing them as theirs. Sound logic with me, man. I don't know about you guys, but that works for me. They're reestablishing their officers' corps. The U.S. has agreed to help them. So we'll see what happens there. What do we got? National contacts are gone. Let's do the Northern Foothold. And honestly, we might just go down this bit. Yeah. Moving all German politicians and commanders from Norway was necessary to warm also to the idea of cooperation, but was not in our best interest. We are still, after all, not an international charity. All our future ambitions in the North still require some sort of, however small, foothold in Norwegian affairs. All mission will be small and effective. A few packed observers will be assigned in the ministry to monitor government going-ons, a few German officers to drill the troops and coordinate joint exercises with the backed forces, as well as legal provisions for future German reinforcements and garrisons. You know, just in case. Open the GUI. Still can't do too much there. But one day, perhaps, we'll get some content going on there. Is there anywhere with no slaves? Barely any in Holland, Denmark, Middle Germany. Alright, there we go. Krone and Reich marks. Many people in the Reich live and even have died during the Bürgerkrieg with the notion that fire and blood is the only way to keep a nation subjugated. But Herr Speer is a different man. He's proven so many times already, and already has his own battle plan. The Norwegian krone is critically unstable ever since the country won its independence, and Norway is very unlikely to turn down an offer to peg their currency to our own Reich mark and reverse their downward spiral. In but a couple of years, this move will provide us even greater control over all Norwegian affairs that it ever offered them economic prosperity, both of which we will seek to exploit fully. Spare, you devious bastard. Alright, we'll see what happens with the mandate versus... What time is it? It's getting late. I should probably stop the session and go to bed. Anyway, thanks for watching. As always, guys, if you like this video, go ahead and leave a like. If not, feel free to dislike. If you want to see more of his content in the future, go ahead and hit the subscribe button for more uploads every weekday, as well as every Saturday. If you have any comments, feedback, concerns, anything of the sort, leave them in the comment section below. I read all the comments I get and appreciate any and all feedback you kind folks might have for me. If you want to send a few bucks my way, I have a Patreon, down link below, you can check that out. If you want to chat, play games, just have a fun old time in general, I have a Discord. And if you want to watch me do this sort of stuff live, I have a Twitch, down link below. You can check out all that with the links. So yeah, thank you for watching. As always, guys, my name has been DB333. And, new event, we are pretty much... Yeah, we want to. We pretty much can't do anything wisely. Maybe promote National Socialism, maybe spread anti-government propaganda, but that's still kind of iffy. But I'll worry about that tomorrow, because I'm going to call it here, folks. Thanks as always for watching. My name has been DB333. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.